Okay, so today we will be building a factory for the CRYSTON components, and these items are super important because they will be the main requirement that you need in order to make purple tier gear and progress further in the game. So without further ado, let's get into the factory building. As always, all factory showcases that you see in these videos are always fully modular, which means you can infinitely replicate them as long as you have the depot space. All of the factories you see here are 100% efficient, which means they only use the exact amount of items you need, and there will never be any clogging as long as you're able to supply enough items. And all of the factory blueprints showcase here are fully compatible with any other video that you see on my channel, which means that you can easily place one next to another and not interfere at all. Now, as you can see from the current production, I have one building that is processing CRYSTON components, and they are producing 6 of them per minute. So this means that it does have 100% efficiency, since one of them takes 10 seconds to produce. Now, I do want to say that before you build this, be prepared, because it does require a lot of resources, it requires a lot of power, and on top of that, you do need to have I believe the last region, which is the power plateau, unlocked, because it requires you to have a particular item from that region, and that region only unlocks once you are level 34. So you will not be able to build this farm before level 34. However, once you hit level 34, you will be able to easily produce the high level components needed for purple tier items. And on top of that, I do want to mention that due to the efficiency of the system, as you can see, it doesn't take that much space. You will be able to put 3 of these setups in your home base, which means that for a total, you are able to produce up to 18 of these per minute. So yeah, if you really need to push this, you will be able to easily do that. So without further ado, let's get into the factory building. This is how it looks like in general. So yeah, it took me probably like good 2 hours with all of the corrections and all of that. But let's first of all start with the resources that you'll need. So in total, you'll need 120 originium ore per minute. You will also need 120 amethyst ore per minute, and lastly you will need a single sand leaf. However, a single sand leaf will only have very low efficiency, so if you want to make sure that the farm is running at its full efficiency, I would say try to have at least like 50 or maybe even 100 of them placed into your home base, right? So you don't need to gather all 100 of them. You can simply get one and then build a seed duplication machine. This is very easy to do and will only take a few minutes. But yeah, once you have like 100 of them stocked up, you will be able to easily continue using this farm to its full efficiency. Again, the blueprints and the playlists for all other farms are placed in the description. And yeah, for the farm itself, it also requires a lot of power. So at this moment, with all of the components in it, you will require a total of 420 power at all times. So if you haven't done so yet, make sure to build at least a few thermal bunks in your base, whether it is this base or another base that you have, because yeah, you'll need a lot of power to power this one up. And if you do intend on duplicating it in the right corner and then at the top here, once you have the depots unlocked, you will be looking at over 1,000 power that this will need, right? So yeah, for the farm itself, if you are from the Asia server and you're not able to copy it, I'll quickly try to explain how everything works. So let's start with the originium first. So first of all 4 nodes are feeding into the shredders. These are producing originium powder. And after that, there are 2 grinding machines which are taking 2 originium power each, right? So these 2 are feeding into this grinding machine, and then these 2 are feeding into this grinding machine right here. On top of that, you also need 1 sand leaf powder, so there is a double duplication build here. So as you can see, 1 sand leaf is feeding into the seed grinder, so that produces 2 seeds, one of those seeds goes into this plant building, and this one goes into here. So for the plant buildings, as you know, once you have two seeds, right, you essentially duplicated the plant as long as it is going to two separate buildings, right? So one of them is going to another seed maker, and in this one of them is going to the plant, another one is going to the plant. This is the reserve plant, which means that the plant that you take from here, right, will be put back into your base by feeding it from this one, right? So this is the renewable plant that you will have. So as long as you have 100, you will constantly have the renewable build, right? And the other one is going to here, and it is getting shredded into powder. And for the first plant, that also is going into the shredder and is getting shredded for powder. So two of those powders are used for the grinding machine, right? And the third one is a reserve powder, which unfortunately, because this plant makes 3 powder instead of 2 as per usual with other plants, we have 1 extra powder left, so I just fed that into our essentially end game machine, which just transports the leftover sand leaf powder to your base, right? So just a little bit that extra is left, right? Because I cannot leave it there, as otherwise the machines will clog up. So yeah, I just left it and transported it to the base. Once we are done with the grindstones, the resources from those are getting transferred to the refineries. Then the second refineries, because you need to double refine these materials, and they are fed to the very last machine that is making the CRYSTON components. So this is the whole route in order to make these packed oligo crust, right? So two every 2 seconds, which makes sure that you have 100% efficiency, right? So yeah, that part is done. Then we can go to the Amethyst route, and for this one, relatively simple setup here. First of all, we are refining them to fibers. Then all of those fibers are fed into the shredders in order to make the powder. From here on out, the reason I did these long roads is because I needed to fit another planting machine, because otherwise if you do not do these and you continue using them similar to the other side, how you can see, right? For the grindstones, if you build the grindstones here, you will simply not have enough space for the planting machine, and you'll need to expand it way higher to the top right here, right? So because I want to keep it as efficient as possible, I opted out for putting the grindstones a bit later, but having the portable sort of like protocol stash in here to feed the renewable plants. From there on out, the grindstones will require 2 amethyst powder and 1 sand leaf. So 2 amethysts are being fed here and 2 are being fed here. And for the powder, very similar to the other side, as you can see, one of the plants is feeding into the shredder. So we have 1 powder going to this one, 1 powder going to this one, and we have the third reserve powder, which is also going to the last storage there. So in total, not only are we producing 1 CRYSTON component every 2 seconds, or every 10 seconds rather, we are also getting, I believe, 2 additional powders every 2 seconds. So essentially 1 extra powder per second. It doesn't really have a use much for me, right? But perhaps you can make it useful with any other material that you farm, because it is required for quite a few other recipes. So yeah, that's just a little bit extra that you have. And yeah, just in case you want to copy it picture by picture, right, I'll quickly showcase like this. So you can see this is the bottom part. Let's say we are going up until the planters, and then all the way from the planters, as you can see, this is the second part if you want to copy. Relatively simple. Okay, I say relatively simple, but yeah, it's not simple at all. But once you get the gist of it, you can kind of understand how it works. The most difficult part, I would say, is when building, make sure to watch for these belt connectors, right? Because sometimes if you place one belt wrong and then try to fix it, sometimes it can move. Instead of going to here, it can sort of like flip here, it can flip here. So make sure, if you see that you screwed up the belt connectors a bit, delete the whole belt and get it all the way back from the machine, right? You want to make sure that it does have a clear path, otherwise it can get a little bit annoying to fix, right? But yeah, overall, this is the factory. As you can see, it is constantly being produced. As soon as one of them is done, the next one is being produced. The items are feeding at an efficient rate, 10 of each item every 10 seconds. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. Just in case you're curious, this is the amount of buildings that you will need. It doesn't show like all the belts, but they're free anyway. So yeah, lots of units. These are gonna be the biggest issue, I think, because they use up 50 power each. So this will be like the main hog on the power. Also, when placing electric pylons, I didn't really look into much efficiency there, right? They don't produce any like pollution or whatever, but I just placed wherever I found some spaces, so some of them might not even be needed. But yeah, since they don't really interfere, I feel like there's not much need to place them. But yeah, overall, hope you enjoyed, hope you have found this useful, because yeah, this was a bit of a headache to build. And yeah, now that I have unlocked Sandleaf, I will be making sure to put out videos for all of the items that do have the Sandleaf unlocked. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. Find out all of the factory builds in the description below if you need. And yeah, peace.